Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Now I know right now we're in the middle of a pretty awesome LCS weekend. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. You know, TSM looking crazy good, looking like they've just done a complete 180 on their season, and that's absolutely awesome. And you guys know it's something I would love to talk about. Team Liquid, they're struggling a little bit still, looking a little iffy. And again, these are stories and things we will definitely talk about in the coming days. We're going to talk about stuff the rest of the week, because those are absolutely massive stories, and I'd love to talk about that stuff. I absolutely love the LCS. I love watching the games. I love the league. And, you know, I have some incentive to see the league be successful and continue to grow and stuff in the future. So that all of this comes definitely from a place of I want to see the LCS succeed. But the most requested video yesterday for me to talk about today was some of the recent comments that C9 Jack Etienne, I believe is how you say his name, what he has been kind of saying in regards to the overall removal of the import rule that most of, not all, but most LCS owners are calling for right now. In this video today, we're going to be covering all of kind of just what's going on. I know we talked about Reggie yesterday, but now today, I guess Jack is the main man who wants to kind of go up against the community. So we'll be covering all that. I'll be giving my thoughts and opinions, hopefully getting the thoughts and opinions from you guys as well. But before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick, thank you guys so much. Yesterday, we actually hit 6,400 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. You guys have been killing it lately, showing some amazing support. We're getting tons of just awesome, positive feedback, and yeah, just overall support everywhere, Twitter, YouTube, and it's just been absolutely awesome seeing my channel continue to grow and grow and grow. I love doing this stuff, and you guys make it so easy when, you know, you come out like this. It's absolutely awesome. Also, if you've not subscribed already, hey, join the gang. Continue to help us run these numbers up. I'm just so appreciative of everything we've had going on, and I just want to say thank you for letting us hit, you know, another little milestone. With that being said, let's get right into today's video. So Travis has kind of been posting these statements from all of the LCS owners, where Jack, you know, he has this quote about the import rule where he would like to see it go away. He does explain that he'd like to see further resources go into NA development, and to me that is really weird. Obviously here you can see that I responded, is this not insanely counterproductive? Import rule gone and invest in NA talent. And I do believe that it's insanely counterproductive. It doesn't make sense because all the LCS owners are like, yeah, let's take away the import rule, but, you know, don't worry, we'll invest more money in NA talent and the amateur scene and all this stuff, when these two ideas are completely independent of each other. Like, if they think investing in NA talent or, you know, development or the amateur league or collegiate league or whatever is important and they actually did care about it, they would do it right now. What is stopping them from doing it right now? Why would the import rule have to be lifted before they'd be able to do some of these things when these two ideas are completely unrelated? You can invest in NA talent and development and scouting and coaching and infrastructure and all these things with the import rule still in place. They're trying to present an idea that they know is not very popular with the community, with analysts, with content creators, with pretty much everyone, you know, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere that I've heard. There are some people on the other side. Obviously, there's always two sides to every story, but the overwhelming community opinion is that they want to keep the import rule. So they know they're presenting an unpopular idea, but then also saying, oh, hey, you guys like NA talent, right? You guys want to see us increase some of this stuff. So they're just kind of, you know, waving it in front of your face and trying to draw attention away from what they know is an unpopular decision. But again, at the end of the day, these are businesses, and right now they are not making money, so they are making a huge play to try and lower overall costs. And I definitely get it. But again, I do believe it is very short-sighted. It would lower costs in the short term, but this is a problem created by them. They are the ones, especially the North American owners, who have created this bubble of salaries that everyone has been saying is completely unsustainable for the longest time. And the answer to it was always going to be developing North American talent and being able to create cheap players in your own region. But instead, they kept spending more and more money on imports. They have not gotten better and better results. They have not made more and more money. If anything, LCS viewership is actually down over the last couple of years as they've begun to import more and more and continue to not get the results and things that people like. And you can see like the LEC, who is importing less and less, and also just having an overall better league, better broadcast, better everything. Viewership is increasing. I think now to the point where it's almost double the viewership of the LCS, which is pretty crazy, pretty surprising. But again, I don't feel too bad for these owners because, again, they have overall made a lot of these bad decisions that have gotten them into this position. Now, you know, they're trying to bail themselves out. But again, I believe in the end it's going to be very counterproductive. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, don't you just want to see the best talent? Don't you just want to see better overall play, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's not even necessarily what the owners want, because again, winning does not necessarily equate to money. It does not equate to profit. It does not equate to financials. And again, this is a business. They care more about making money than winning, and that you can see in leagues all across the world everywhere you go. You also see that in leagues everywhere you go, winning does not necessarily equal money. That is not just an esports thing. It's not just a League of Legends thing. Go look at any of the top leagues anywhere. There's teams that make money that are not necessarily the most winning teams, or even the teams that have had the best historical results or short-term results or anything like that. But that is just kind of the background of what has been going on with Jack and everything. I thought this was hilarious, pretty funny. He talks about, I want to see, I don't care if the players are American. I want to get the best young players who have a passion, drive for gaming, for League of Legends, who want to win, blah, 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 blah. And again, like people are saying, if you want to do that, if you don't care about NA, you don't care about Americans, whatever, you're that's a slap in the face to the NA community. You are an owner in a North American League of Legends league. You're not a League of Legends league. You are the North American League of Legends league. And if you want, like Vulcan said, if you don't care about North American talent, players, whatever, and you don't want to cultivate and help develop that, then you should go to a different league. You have a lot of money, you have investors, you can buy slots in the other leagues, you have all those other opportunities. And it doesn't make sense. In this interview, he says, I want to find the best players regardless of where they're born. I want to support the best young talent regardless of where they're born. But then he's also talking about developing North American talent. He's literally trying to play both sides of the argument. I don't get it, doesn't make sense, whatever. Anyway, it gets us to the point where we get to what people wanted me to talk about, and is this Reddit thread from 3 days ago where this guy, Bobo the Llama, talks about import rule possible changes, and he wants to ask everyone how they feel about this push of the org to do away with the import rule. He gives his thoughts and opinions, blah, 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 blah. Vinny DG says, that is a problem if you are American, and I get it, but as a Brazilian C9 fan, I don't care too much about import rules as long as C9 is doing well. By the way, C9 have rosters that are not American, like in Rainbow Six. It is all Asian and Overwatch previously. And again, I don't care, and not really anybody else cares. This is the North American League of Legends League. Again, if you are a Brazilian C9 fan, that is great, but the Brazilian C9 fans are not who is making Cloud9 money at the end of the day. It's not who is supporting the North American sponsors and brands that are giving the LCS money at the end of the day. So I don't really get why that matters too much. Yes, building up an international fan base is great, but not if it means, alienating your core fan base, who is the people who have, brought up and cultivated this league in the first place. Anyway, Jack responds. He's on Reddit. He says, 100% right. C9 is an international team with players and employees who work and live all over the globe. If you've got skills, passion, and good work ethic, I want you working at Cloud9, and I don't care where you're born. And again, that's the same thing he said in the Travis Gafford interview. But here's where it gets spicy. Kamoyan25 says, Cloud9 might be an international team, but NALCS is a North American for North American players, or is in North America for North American players. You are representing NA for NA fans. We want to see our players in the LCS, not a bunch of Koreans. If we wanted that, we would watch LCK. You are looking at this from a business perspective. You need to consider the fan and viewer perspective. And again, my big argument throughout this whole thing is that the fan and viewer perspective is part of the business perspective, and that is what I think a lot of these LCS owners are neglecting. Like, again, they're making a decision that is very, very unpopular with many North American fans, viewers, content creators, everyone, and giving them a big slap in the face. Again, even if it gives you better short-term results, if you're losing viewers overall in a league that is already losing viewership, already declining, already struggling, that could be the last nail in the coffin. That could be really, really costly. But here's the spicy quote from Jack. He says, I don't agree with your opinion, and that's fine. Your comment, not a bunch of Koreans, is distasteful and would be considered racist by many. I don't support xenophobic or racist comments, and would like to see us elevate beyond that type of sentiment. Now, he is that comment is just absolutely asinine. Obviously, no one is being racist, no one is being xenophobic. They're saying, we support North American talent, we want North American players, and again, it's not even that. It's not even that I want only to see North American players or North American talent or whatever. I've been fine overall with the import rule requiring people to be here for 3, 4, 5 years, get a green card, because again, at that point, you have essentially allowed us to get to know you. You've essentially, lived here. You like it here. You've worked here. You've maybe, brought your significant other, your family, your friends. You have become, with all intents and purposes, a North American. You have lived in our culture, and you have become one of us. And, that's so much of what America is about. That is way different than just bringing over an import, a guy from Korea, China, Europe, wherever, nobody cares, who is not one of us, who is not in, our bubble, and is not a person that we know at all, have any relation to, have any relatability to, or anything like that. So I think it is completely different. Again, it's not just the fact that it's American. Or Bjergsen is one of my favorite players of all time, and a guy who I support endlessly. he came here and showed a ton of support and everything for North America, for the United States, and has lived here and become an American, just as American as anyone else is, really, by giving that long-term commitment to us, not just being able to profit off a short-term commitment and then just bounce as soon as grass is greener somewhere else. And the guy explains his comments. He said, I was saying not a bunch of Koreans in context of the fact that you said you would like to bring over a full roster of Korean players. I do not want a full Korean roster, not because I have any issues with Koreans, but because this is NALCS, not LCK. Again, don't try to twist my words and make me look racist. Again, just a very, very unprofessional, distasteful comment from Jack that obviously, rightfully so, people had a lot of issue with. Saying that you don't want a bunch of Koreans in the LCS, again, that does sound harsh, and I get kind of what Jack is saying, how it could maybe sound bad, and maybe the guy didn't word it the best. But again, it's not just the fact that it's a bunch of Koreans. It's the fact that it's, just a team of players who are all imports coming over and replacing what is going on right now, but also just the fact that, again, if you come in and replace a North American player, team, or whatever, that bumps them down, it bumps the people below them down, and you start to shake up the whole ladder and give people at the bottom less and less motivation, who right now, the people at the bottom who are hoping to climb up, who are hoping to develop, who are hoping to become the professional players of tomorrow and stuff, those are the guys kind of keeping this whole thing together. And if you start to take away the bottom, you really could start to lose the whole North American base, which would overall, one, make our solo queue even worse than it already is, and make it even harder to get better and play here. Two, it could, just make people lose interest in the game entirely. Like, you're going to play less, you're going to watch less, you're going to care about the game less, and it's just so many issues and stuff that starts to arise. And there were some really good comments about this, actually. So they talked about here, imagine wanting to watch a local basketball game in China, and all you see are imported B-League American basketball players with the occasional actual Chinese national in there. Might as well just go watch the NBA, and that's exactly what you're going to run into. If the LCS becomes, LCK Light or LPL Light, which it might not even be that, because again, if you lift this rule, you're lifting it everywhere. So China, who has the most money, and it's probably way easier for them to get Korean players and stuff over, you risk the LCK having the best Korean players, or maybe the LPL, and then the LCK having the second best, and then North America getting the third round of Korean players, the second round of Chinese players, the second round of European players. Like, it all really starts to fall apart and really gives them even less incentive to come to North America than they already have. And it just really wouldn't make sense. And how are you, if this is for results, then how is having second-rate Chinese players or second-rate Korean players or third-rate Korean players, how is that ever going to make us better when we already have terrible infrastructure, terrible coaching, terrible management, terrible ownership, all these things in place that do not cultivate talent, when this whole time the solution has been with the things we have. We have North American players. Okay, our player base is low. Okay, well, here's the Oceanic players. So now we actually have a competitive size talent pool, and we're still looking for more and more excuses because these businesses have been horribly run by the people at the top. Your Reggies, your Jacks, your Steves. It's hilarious when, paid by Steve, he's throwing out all this money. It is completely unsustainable, and it was always terrible business decisions, which they are now paying for, which they are now trying to make the fans, the league, the players pay for, their lack of oversight of kind of the overall impact of the decisions that they've been making for quite some time. So in the end, Reggie said some stupid shit on Twitter yesterday. Jack saying some stupid shit on Twitter. These guys, they're so just disconnected, I believe, from the fan base and what's going on. And again, like somebody said, Cloud9 was also the team that's like, Volibear, Police Volibear was racist or whatever during some of the stuff earlier this year, which was crazy. He also says here, I personally find your comment offensive, but I'm ready to agree to disagree with you on that point and move on. So it's just like, he's saying he's offended by the stuff that people are saying, and he's trying to kind of dodge comments. And you've seen from when Travis asks people, they're not really giving answers to questions and stuff. And again, thankfully, it's not how everyone feels, because there is still some people standing up for what I believe is right out there. You have Golden Guardians owner came out and said some stuff. You also have Voyboy making his video on the stairs, which is always great. Anero came out and said it's kind of a cop-out, just like giving up, saying, hey, we're never going to be good enough because we have to have 3 North American players and we suck. So that's sad to hear. There are players and coaches and everyone still standing up for what's right and standing up for the future of the LCS. Because again, these decisions and the things that people are saying and doing in the end could really affect just so much, and it could have so much impact So it is still good to see. There is still hope. And again, we don't know if these rules are going to be changed or anything, but I just know that even if the owners have some points and are saying some good things, they are going about it so unprofessionally and so arrogantly and so just kind of disgustingly, honestly, in my opinion, that it's really hard for me to even give them the benefit of the doubt in most situations. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about this whole situation? What do you think about Jack's comments? You think he's right? You think he's wrong? You think he's saying some stupid shit? I don't know. I'd love your guys' thoughts and opinions because there is really so many different sides and arguments of the story. But again, if you want to leave your comments, do it respectfully. If you're just shitting on people in the comments, you know, it's not going to work like that. It is okay to have a different opinion. It's okay to say some different stuff, but you got to do it the right way. Subscribe, save day on all these content. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.